Hi everyone, it's Jamie here, Thermomix consultant in Port Lincoln. I have just received my second Thermomix, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to perhaps do an unboxing demonstration for all new customers, so you can see exactly what's going on and what you need to be careful of. All the little things that you need when setting up your machine, especially because I'm mindful that some of you may not be in Port Lincoln, so I don't necessarily get to see you in person. So we'll get started. First, I've got a nice clean space ready to go. I've got my lovely Thermomix here on the floor. So I will get started with unboxing this. They've recently changed the shipping and packaging on our Thermomixes. It used to be double boxed, but in the interest of reducing waste and recycling, it now just comes in the one box. So obviously, when you first get your Thermomix, it gets delivered by the postman. Please just check the box and make sure that everything looks okay. There's no dings or anything damaged or noticeably damaged in the box before you start unpacking it. Send videos immediately to your consultant that you purchase with before you open it, if that's the case. It should be fine, but you never know. Sometimes things happen, and we'd rather get it sorted straight away and get things up and running. So we unpack, we get a lovely little thank you note from Thermomix, and then on the back is just a QR code which will have information to the mix shop. So we open up our beautiful big box. In here is some just important documentation information about some changes to the Thermomix, whether you've upgraded from a 5 or if this is a brand new machine. You might have had a 31. So our first box that we have in here just sits nicely on top. And this one is where we have all our accessories that go with. So first of all is our aroma lid. I'll just put that there for now. This is your spatula. This is very, very helpful, this little thing. I will show you why. I'll give you a bit more information on that shortly. So that can sit up there. This little here is called your splatter guard. Now this is the one that we use for high heat. Other models of Thermomix will not have one of these. You would often use a simmering basket. You still do use your simmering basket, but sometimes it will ask for a splatter guard for high heat. This is purely for safety, so if it's asking you for a splatter guard, this is what you're looking for. That one can stay over here. This is your butterfly whisk attachment. You really need to be mindful that this cannot be used over speed 4. I believe it has, there's a little symbol on here, which you probably can't see on this video. Can't really see it, that says max 4. So don't go over speed 4 using that, or it will fly off and will get chopped up. And we don't want that to happen. Now this is your Varoma deep steaming tray. That one can sit here. This is Varoma tray. And in here is your measuring cup. Now also in your measuring cup, a few things to note is that there is a 50ml and 100ml measurements in here. So you can use that for measuring, obviously. This little bit here, the pointy end, can be used as like a juicer for squeezing lemon, lime, all that kind of thing. I'll have a few more tips with that as we go along. But I'm just going to move this box out of the way. Actually going to take that to our local kindy and donate that one. Kids will have a ball. So, how this all goes together. So you've got your basket, your tray on top, and then your lid. This sits all on top of your machine like so. I'll put that over here for now. So that's how we can do our layered cooking. So all of these accessories are going to go over here. Now before I unbox the Thermomix, I'm going to set up my glider board. So this, for those wondering who have got a new machine, you get a new basic cookbook. You have more TM6 bits and pieces in here. So keep that one, that will be a handy little guide. There's lots of helpful tips and tricks in the books. A lot of people forget about the book, but make sure you have a read. So this is a glider board. This does not get sent with your Thermomix unless it is a gift with purchase. I luckily earned this one as part of my booster program being a Thermomix consultant. So these are $150. but I believe that they are worth their weight in gold. More Kindy supplies. So you can see on the back, and this is the front, and you'll notice that it's got 3 little cutouts, and these just sits on your bench like so, and this is how we move our Thermomix. So you'll see that I've got a twin there. More fun for Kindy. Right. Next you have instruction booklet. Hold on to that. That is also gold. Now it's going to be easier if I unwrap as I go. Now just be careful because it is heavy. It's a heavy little machine. We can move our box. There's nothing else in our box. This is your Thermomix. So I am going to put this, you will see on the bottom are the feet. These 3 little divots fit in these divots here. Now you have to be extremely careful with this machine. Your scales for your Thermomix are on the bottom of your machine. These feet here are your scales. So if you drag this on your bench to move it around, you will damage your scales and need to send it away for a service. So we have to be extremely careful of the scales. So the beauty of the glider board is it will sit just in those little divots and it will not move. Just be careful that it's not stuck on the other cord. Cord goes in. And we turn it on. So to turn it on is just this little silver button here. I'm going to move you so you can come a little bit closer. Just bear with me while I rearrange some things here. Might turn it around so you can see. So it's going to take a little while to get up and running. It comes with tape on the sides, which is blue, so we peel that off. Some people like to leave it on there to keep it looking nice, but to be honest, food and things get in this and it makes it a little bit yucky. So for food hygiene practices, I always take it off. I just believe that it's safer and cleaner to do so. Right, so it's going to take a little while to get up and running. There is also a screen protector on here. You also need to take this off because if gunk gets underneath this, your screen will not work. This is all touch sensitive. So if you have some dirt and grit under here, your screen won't work and you'll panic. So take that off as well. And your little friend is good to go. So you can see now with the glider board, I can move it around safely and it's not affecting my scales. So you just need to make sure you have a nice, clean, safe surface. Your measuring cup sits in like so. Now the beauty of the measuring cup now is that it will not fall out of your lid. So it's turn it upside down and it's all good. So also another thing to note is wherever you have the pointy bit of your measuring cup is where your steam will come out. So if you have it on the bench like I do, make sure that you turn your cup away from you and that the steam is going towards your range hood. So this is still coming on, so very cool to know that yes, you can move that around to wherever. Also, this is where if you're emulsifying liquid or if you are wanting to separate egg yolks and egg whites, you can just pour it directly into the lid and this will catch chunky bits and not let it go through, but it will slowly drizzle oil and egg white through there if you need to use that for emulsifying. The next thing while we're waiting for that is our spatula. Now I haven't got one there. I have a whole cupboard full of Thermomix accessories. Just stay with me. So trapped in this bowl. So when this has been sent, the arms have been locked on. So this is in transport mode. So if you were ever needing to take your Thermomix traveling, camping, in a caravan, anything like that, you need to go into your settings and select transport mode. It will safely lock on the arms so that nothing can be damaged while you're driving around. Locked in here at the moment is our simmering basket. So the beauty of the simmering basket is, see the little hook there? When this is sitting in your bowl, the little hook, it's very hard to film, becomes your handle, because it's obviously sits hot in there. So you can just hook it in like so. There's two little holes. A bit hard to see and to show. There's two little holes in there. We hook in down like that, and then we can turn it upside down to let, whoops, we had something left in there. Turn that upside down, and away you go. There's also this little bit here. Looks a bit funny, but this is what protects your spatula from your blades. So some recipes you need to insert your spatula into the bowl, like if you're doing maybe an ice cream or you're crushing some ice, sometimes you need to give it a bit of a hand. This will stop the blades touching your spatula. Your spatula is silicone on here, so you can use it to scrape out everything you need, which is great. I also like to just keep that nice and close. So we've got a nice big tick now. Hopefully we get a next screen. It's thinking. Beautiful, here we go. Starting to get up and running. So next what we'll need to do is connect to Wi-Fi. That reminds me, I need my Wi-Fi code. And it will also connect to Cookie Doo. Now, if you haven't already set up your Cookie Doo account, your consultant should have sent you a welcome pack when they've purchased through you. If not, please reach out and ask them their next steps and what you need to do before you start unboxing. See, our arms have opened. If you have never had a Cookie Doo account before, you'll be entitled to, I believe, 30 days free. And then on top of that, as part of your purchase, you'll get 6 months free. So talk to your consultant about that, getting you up and running. So we're going to now choose our language, which we want English for here. So click on English, it's all touch screen, and click next. And where do I live? I live in Australia. So I'm going to scroll down to Australia, and it's got a tick next to it. Click the next button. This is now going to ask me to connect to Wi-Fi. You can skip this step and come back to it if you need to, but I'm going to search for networks. And I know that this is my Wi-Fi. I am going to put in my password. And hopefully get it first go. If you are having issues with your internet, please let your consultant know. You can use your hotspot on your phone if need be, but your home internet is probably the best way to go about things. Hopefully I've got this one right. Perfect. So successfully, goodness me, can't talk today, connected. I'm going to go next. Now we're going to put in our Cookie Doo. So if you haven't already set one up, you would need to stop here, open up a website, go to Cookie Doo website and put it all in. So I'm going to put mine in here, hopefully. I'm going to put my password in, but I'm just going to turn the screen away while I quickly do that, because I don't want everyone logging into my Cookie Doo. Hopefully I've got it right today. Nope, my password is not working, so I'm just going to skip that for now. Go through our safety instructions. Please read this the first time. This will also come up again after a few uses. So it's just mindful about overfilling your bowl, how to separate the bowl and everything you need. Also, another risk of scalding, this does get really hot, so you obviously can burn yourself, so please be careful. I have sort of taught myself that anytime I am making anything, when I take off my lid, I push down and release the steam up behind the machine. That's just what I do to remind myself to be safe, because if you do it this way, the steam obviously is going to hurt you. It is now going to say that there is new software, so we're going to update. This will happen when you open up your new machine, purely because it's added some extra features. So you obviously want those. So we're going to update. If you're ever unsure, just reach out to your consultant and they'll be able to give you a hand. I'm just going to try and find my password. We also like to keep the boxes that your Thermomix came in, purely because if anything goes wrong and you need to send it back, you want to be able to not have to buy a box. So I'm just going to try and remember my password while it's doing its update. Sorry. So obviously it helps to have all this sorted before you log in. Have your profile ready to go. There is a website and there is also an app. So I'd highly recommend downloading the app, because you can use that to menu plan and do your shopping lists and everything. You can do it on your machine, but it's just a little bit clunkier. It's a little bit more user friendly on the app. Right. I have remembered my password. So I have logged in on the app so that I'll be able to log in here in a moment, but I'll be able to show you how to do that. 1 minute to go. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. Of course, if any of this is overwhelming and you'd rather do this with your consultant, please reach out. We can talk you through this over the phone. We can do it through Zoom, FaceTime, anything that you need. So we're here to help you. That's part and parcel with you purchasing your Thermomix. So please reach out. So this, you can see here now how your simmering basket fits. So obviously simmering basket is in there. Say we've cooked some rice or something, you get your spatula, put it in the hole there, pull hard, and that's how you lift it out. You can see in your bowl your blades. These are incredibly sharp, so please be careful using these. In here, in your machine, you need to keep dry and clean as best as you can. If the prongs are wet on the bottom of your bowl and gets wet in here, you're going to have some problems. It will come up with some errors. But we'll put this in here for now. You'll see that it just clicks in like that. The green lights mean that everything is cool to touch. When it is red, it means your bowl is hot. So I have taught my children, who are 4 and 2, that if these lights are red, do not touch Mummy's Thermomix. They're pretty good. They know not to. The rest, this will all be cool to touch, but your bowl will get really, really hot. So it's just doing its thing. You'll see in your bowl there that we have got the max line. We've got 2 litres, a little spot for 1.5, 1 litre and 500 mils. So you can also measure that way. We have got scales though, which I can show you shortly. It's going to upload. Probably could have skipped this update until a bit later, but that's okay. We'll get it going. I'll show you what else we need to do. Now, I may as well just show you how we separate your bowl. Everything is dishwasher proof. So if you have a dishwasher, lucky you. If you have children, they can always be a dishwasher. So, bottom of your bowl here, this all separates. It's going to be really tricky for the first 2 tries. Until you've loosened it, it will be quite tight. So even for me, right, so that just separates like that. This bit comes off. This is the only part that I don't put in the dishwasher, but I believe you can. I think that's okay. I do get this wet. I wash this, it gets a bit gunky. So then your blade has been released. Now be extremely careful, and I only touch the top little bit there. See, that's not touching my blades. So these are your blades, incredibly sharp. You get lots of gunk stuck under there. So you will need a brush that will clean under there. It does have pre-clean mode though, so pre-clean is pretty good, but I highly recommend pulling it all apart though and giving it a good wash. It can all go in the dishwasher. When I put mine in my dishwasher, I turn my bowl upside down in my dishwasher like this, and I rest my blade just in there like that, so that that doesn't get caught on anything and I can get it out easily, knowing that it's sharp. So simply to put it back together, we just go backwards. So I put in my blade and you can sort of feel around, it's got little grooves, so you'll know when it's clicked into place. There we go. So it's now at the bottom, so then we can hold that. That's all spinning around, I know that that's tight. I then get this little bit and clip that back on the bottom and clips it around. But again, it will be quite tight for the first few times. So to loosen, like that, and then tighten it back up. So you need to make sure that this is all securely tight, and then I just do the little check that it's all in. Nothing falls out, everything's okay, my blade is spinning, we're good to go. So please be careful that that is put together back carefully. Some families have a rule that if they've taken it out of the dishwasher, that they just leave it not in their bowl. As soon as you've washed it, some people like to just leave it to the side, so whoever's going to use the bowl next knows that they've got to put it together properly before they use it. Because a lot of people have lost measuring cups. Some people put their measuring cup in here and they lose that. But honestly, just give us a call and just be mindful. So we're still waiting for that to do its upgrade, but that is how you assemble and disassemble your bowl. If anything does go wrong, you just ring your consultant and we can order you spare parts if need be. But fingers crossed, we won't need to. So now this splatter guard sits on top like that. If it asks for it, the screen will come up and tell you what parts it needs next. So if a recipe says insert measuring cup, obviously we insert measuring cup. If it asks for a splatter guard, you take measuring cup out, put your splatter guard on. If it asks for a simmering basket, this just sits on top like so. If it asks for the varoma, all sits on top of the lid like so. I like to store mine with everything sort of tucked in the best I can. So I put my splatter guard in there, put my butterfly whisk in there, just because I find it a little bit easier to keep it together. I think sometimes you can even fit. No, simmering basket's not going to fit, but that's fine. So I keep it stored like that to keep it all together. Now I'm going to take that off and show you the butterfly whisk. So if it is asking for your butterfly whisk, you will see in here one of your blades sits a little bit higher than the others. So you'll work that out slowly, but one is a little bit higher and this simply clips on behind the higher blade and is on like that. So then when you're using it, I always just go a little bit slowly to start to make sure it's not going to flick off, and then go on with my recipe. But anyway, I think we're up and going. So now I'm going to try and log into Cookie Do again. If you ever accidentally get logged out, this is your manual cooking screen. We're going to click the little 3 lines. We're going to go down to settings. And this is where your Wi-Fi and everything lives if you need it to. This is where Bluetooth lives if you have the sensor, and where your connected devices are. I'm going to go to Cookie to Accounts. I'm going to re-put myself in. Now that I've remembered my password. Of course, it's not the password that I use for everything, so I forgot it. And not often do I have to re-log in. Everything sort of stays on. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to turn over there. Sorry, you can look at some nice simmering baskets. Okay, so now this screen is very important. So it is saying that I am a regular customer, I'm active, it is valid until the 11th of July 2025, my email address, and the last time it was updated. This is where you log out if you need to, but now I also want to go back and show you some other settings while we're here. So if you click this little arrow, we're now going to go down to sounds. Not many people know this, but your Thermomix plays some lovely, lovely sounds. And it goes at the moment until it's unlimited. So that means it will keep going until you press this button to stop. I do not like that. I change it down to 10 seconds is enough for me. Some people need it to go longer, and I keep it medium. You can also change the sounds to whatever you like. I think mine's that one. And you can also change the volume, down there, volume of your next button. So that's that sorted. You can change the display, how bright it is if you need to. I find it plenty bright enough. Your keyboard layout, if you wanted something different, you can change it. You can put pins on there. This is where we find transport mode. So if you are taking it camping, put your lid on, activate transport mode, and then you turn it off. So I'm going to deactivate because I'm not going to do that. We don't have time to turn it off. System of measurement is metric. This is where we do resets and stuff if you need to. We don't need to do that today. We're all good to go. So we're going to go home. This is our manual cooking. So if, for example, you find a recipe that is not in Cookie Dough that would you like to use, it takes a little while sometimes when it's just starting up. Going to agree. Right, we have started our 6 months free trial. So here, so this is where your time sits. So when it's highlighted with a big circle, that means you have selected that. So these ones will change as we need them. So say we wanted to cook something for 3 seconds. This is where your speeds go. This is your temperature. So if we turn this all the way around to Varoma, people get confused because the highest temp is called Varoma as well as the big basket. This just means your hottest you can go, the hottest steaming temperature. And then this here is your speed. Now, if you want, sometimes recipes will say slowest speed. That just means to turn it to the spoon. That's slowest speed. Also, you can press the button to stop it and reopen your arms if you need to. Some will ask you to reverse the blades. So this little blade button here, you click on that and it puts up the reverse symbol. So then we can go around to whatever speed we need to. And the blades go the other way so it doesn't chop your food so much. From here, you can see this little drop down. This is where we can set a timer simply by clicking in here. Set your timer, you're good to go. Also again here, if you are doing a recipe that requires you to know the temperature of your bowl before you go your next step, this is where you can see that. So my bowl at the moment is 37 degrees, all good. So then if you're wanting to search for a recipe, you can quickly click the search button there. But again, because it takes a little bit longer on the machine, I do all of this on my app normally and just sync it to the recipe I want to cook today. So in here is searching for 11,000 recipes. You can play with filters in here. a little bit slow. You've got categories, ingredients, if you wanted pumpkin but you don't want mushrooms, examples like that. If you're gluten-free, you can put a tag in there that you're gluten-free. If you don't want to be cooking for too long, you can say I only want to cook for 15 minutes, and it will then reduce the items down a little bit further. Now we can also click on English, but we're going to untick, sometimes Australia is ticked. My preferences are that I don't want Australia ticked, purely because it means that I can access recipes from the UK and America. It will just change the scales automatically. Instead of metric, it'll go to pounds and ounces if we need it to. So first, let's pretend we're going to cook some lemonade scones today. So I click on the recipe. Beautiful. And if I click on this little button here, it then shows me everything that's in my recipe. So I can get everything out and be organised and ready to go. Down here it'll say some useful utensils, hints and tips, gives you lots of tips as you go along, which is great. And of course your nutrients in the side here. Also, if you, for example, were just wanting to do, I don't know, the serving the scones bit, you can click on just one part of the recipe here. You don't have to start at the start. So say you found a cauliflower rice recipe, but you didn't want to cook the curry with it, you could just click on the cauliflower rice component and move on. So then we're also going to go back here. Back goes through our recipe. From here, you can open a preview and it will tell you what your next steps are. You can look at the recipe detail again. Continue. And you can also bring up your scales here if you needed to, which is a super, super handy feature. So we're going to go home again because we don't actually need to cook that. But it has bookmarked my recipe. So say I had to leave it to prove in the bowl for 10 minutes, I could move on with a different recipe and come back. So you click on the bookmark and that brings up where you were. So that is a great little feature to have. So everything is swipe mode. So this is our manual cooking screen. If we swipe across here, this is where our modes live. So this is where our scales live. This is where dough mode lives if you need it. It is also where pre-clean lives. So a lot of people want to know about pre-clean. Gives you a little instruction here on what to do. So you just read, you put some water in, detergent, and then you move around to whatever mode you need. So you've got quick mode, dough mode, etc., etc. It'll then clean it for you. This little I button here tells you again what you need to do if you've forgotten. And then we can simply swipe across again. We've got egg boiler mode, kettle, warm up, thicken. Ask your consultant to go over these further if you need to, but have a play and just look into it yourself. You can't really hurt anything, just get to know your machine. So then we swipe back again and over to, let's just go home first. Over to here is where Cookadoo lives. So this is where you can search, but this is exactly how your app looks. So my suggestion is to go to your app, find a recipe that you want to cook. I'm just, for example, going to do a basmati rice and open it and up it comes. So very, very handy little thing. Some recipes you can change portion size. This one may not let us, nope, not this one. What else have we got in here? If you click down on these little three buttons here, if I click it properly, it's going to give me a few more options. I can cook it today, I can bookmark it, or I can add it to my shopping list. It's much easier to do this on your app, but let's pretend we're going to cook it today and we're going to bookmark it just because we can. So then I'm going to click on these three little lines again, and this is going to bring up some more options. So my recipes, bookmarks is where I have just sent this recipe that I was looking at. This is going to bring up all my bookmarks. So there's quite a few of them. So there's the basmati rice one. I'm going to go back. We can create recipes from Cookadoo, from Recipe Community and your own recipes. So you can create them again. That's quite a detailed process, so speak to your consultant about that. But these are my recipes I've created. You can have created collections. Again, ones that I've got saved there are things I'd like to try, and saved collections. But I'm going to go back here to my week. So my week then is going to bring up anything that I've meal planned. So that's where I find my basmati rice, which is super, super convenient. So I can also go to my recently cooked. Obviously, all I've looked at so far on this machine is lemonade scones, but on my other machine, it lists every single thing that I've cooked. So you can scroll through and be like, oh, what was that recipe I made last week? Oh, that's right, chicken risotto, find it and go from there. So again, it's just getting to know your machine, having a play with it, and reaching out to your consultant if you need anything. That is just a very, very quick and simple rundown of your Thermomix. And obviously, if there's any questions you have, please reach out. We're all here to help. Everyone has so much knowledge and everyone uses their machine differently. And your consultant will have a wealth of information. I am still learning so much new stuff every day. And I really hope you love your Thermomix as much as I do. And happy cooking. Thank you. Bye.